My name is Drew Gibson. I've been playing disc golf since like 2010 or so. The rain kind of messed me up a little bit, put me on like a little lull of like 3 pars. So overall I think I played well. I'm in on the second card of a big tournament, so I can't complain too much, but I played this little stretch of holes right here in like the hardest rain, so that kind of put a little damper on my round. You know, I think that me showing a little bit of my emotion helps me play better. You know, I think if I just keep it bottled in, I start to get really like annoyed with myself. If I let it out for 1 second, you know, I get back to like my normal zone. To compete at the level we're all playing at, you know, you can't be complacent out here. You know, everyone's so good. You know, you could lose to almost anybody any week now. You know, so if you want to keep at the top level and keep getting top 10s and having a chance to win, you need a little bit of fire. I'm just gonna try to keep pace. I mean, I said that yesterday. Like, whatever. If that's 13 under, I'm gonna try to shoot that. If it's 10 under, hopefully I shoot that. You know, I'm just gonna try to keep up and, you know, hopefully shoot a hot round.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Round 2 Front 9 coverage of the 2021 Dynamic Discs Open, presented by none other than Dynamic Discs. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here yet again by Nathan Queen, calling the shots with me today. Nathan, we have one more round at Jones Gold before we move on to Emporia Country Club.
Yeah, we had a pretty calm round as far as winds go the first day. We had a little bit of rain going on, but the winds have picked up a little bit. Still not quite what we're used to seeing here in Emporia, but 10 to 15 miles an hour will add a little bit more. You know, it'll make it a little bit tougher today.
And we have a card of players all pretty young and still very experienced to tour golf. We have Andrew Presnell, Drew Gibson, Adam Hams, and Gavin Rathbun, all players that can shred this course. I would say 3 big arms and 1 strategic player. We move into hole number 1, the hardest hole in the course. And again, we said this yesterday, the tee shot can be more conservative, but you're really just picking your spot to push this really challenging second shot to the green.
Yeah, especially with these 3 players we have with the bigger arms, they really don't have to get that aggressive off of the tee shot. It really makes it to where the second shot is easier if they can just full rip into something.
Yes. And Presnell, I would say, is the shortest thrower of the group, but again, very good, consistent scorer. Seems to really pick apart courses well and leans on his strengths really well here.
Yeah, another player kind of like me in that he doesn't throw many forehands, so we'll see a lot of backhands from him, and a very great placement player.
And that's got to sit down. There is OB on that right side. I think he's okay, but still pretty far back there.
Yeah, he'll definitely be playing for a par from there.
From Minocqua, Wisconsin, sponsored by Discraft, Adam Hammonds.
And Adam seems to do really well in these types of courses, and I think on a lot of holes at Jones, his enormous sidearm is going to come into play. It looks like he's lining it up on hole 1.
Yeah, I watched him throw this shot the first day, and he pulled it off really well.
And the wind did shift. There was a left to right at this time of day, so
yeah,
this
actually is looking good as well, but it's getting pushed off further right than you really want to be, but he's got a big arm and should be able to have a chance to put it up on the green from there.
Drew Gibson.
And for Drew, this course sets up for him just incredibly well. So many par 4s can be reached with those slow flipping distance driver shots, and he's one of the best to ever do it in this game.
Yeah, he's got a really great pushing forward shot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what he's going for here, down the middle.
Oh.
Low out of the hand.
Whoa.
Gets good tree play off of both of the trees.
That was a crazy air bounce off that wind.
Yeah, got a little nick off of both of those trees, and it just kind of picked it up. Catches the second tree and still gets past it with the power he has. Not many people would be able to reach the green from there, but I do believe he's got a shot if he wants it.
Another player that's going to be running eagles out here is Gavin. This kid has a huge arm.
And it looks like he was going pretty aggressive off of the tee, and that's a very unfortunate kick. He's turned over off to the right side, and looks like he may have just stayed in bounds.
A nice blessing for Gavin, and just can't capitalize on it. He hit that tree in the middle.
Yeah, it's a tough par save from there. So as we expected, Drew going huge hyzer stand up.
Wow, look at that.
And this is really carrying just so far. And that's a fantastic shot. That's a 500-foot shot he just threw onto a very tight green. Great recovery shot after a bit of a mess up off the tee.
And there's a green drone from Presnell. And that has turned a bit too much. I still don't see an out-of-bounds marker there.
Yeah, it looks like he sat just inside of that OB line. Adam,
What do you think about this shot?
it looks like he's playing for par here. With the slope of that hill, I don't quite understand why he does that. Me and you probably both have to do that, and they're just hoping for the spike. But that looked like a par play there, and the wind just pushed it off to the right a bit too far.
And Gavin has a nice trajectory on this. This is coming in nicely. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a look at a par save for Gavin. Great shot. Another drone out of Presnell's hand. Look at that thing land just so softly.
Yeah, he gets such a great angle on it that every time it hits the ground, it just hits flat. Adam with a very good touch forehand there to just kind of lay up and get his bogey. Drew for an incredible birdie after a short tee shot. Will tap a par in on this hole, which still gains about a stroke on the field.
Averaging a 4.95. And Gavin also is going to take a bogey to start the round. Really not the worst thing in the world. However, they are going to have to really attack the rest of these holes out there. Presnell with a very standard par. Getting a little fortunate on that approach shot into the green.
Yeah, and we should note that the wind switched and was going a different direction than the first day.
Yeah.
So rather than the right to left off of the tee, there was a left to right, and it makes a headwind for that second shot. So a little more difficult.
And we're going to move into hole number 2. Another one of those holes where this wind changing on day 2 is going to make it a lot tougher. This sloping downwards to the right green makes the forehand play a lot harder. I like Presnell's play here. Kind of fighting the head crosswind.
Yeah, and you can still see it there kind of bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good play there inside of circle 2. This wind really makes this hole very strange. We saw this play from Garrett yesterday. I think it's a good play.
Look at that thing fight the crosswind. It kept pushing to the left. And even that one was just not even close to circle 1.
When you throw up high on this hole, it makes it play longer. But as soon as you take this straight gap, the headwind doesn't really seem to affect the distance, and it's still easy to carry long.
Adam going with the forehand and sticks it right next to the basket. That's such a good wind play. Just subtle head left to right that he had to fight against.
Yeah, great wind read there. He gets...
Oh, Gavin.
And that does stay OB, as it is the cable line that defines this OB line, and he's just going to elect to re-tee here.
Oh, no, he looks like he did play from where he went out. Just a basic FD3, but still put himself to a tester range.
This is a bit of a scary putt to run. The OB's not super close behind it, but with the downhill, it can get pretty easy to carry and just kind of trickle out on you.
And the Penrose for Drew.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row that just kind of dropped out of his hand. Didn't quite give it a chance to get there. And Gavin to save his bogey. Pretty rough start for him, but there are definitely plenty of attackable holes for him to bring the round back.
Adam taps in a beautiful birdie after that sidearm. And yeah, there are so many attackable birdies out here. You just can't let too many bogeys get in your way to really take away any chances of having a good round. Gavin's still in an okay spot. Just has to put the pedal to the gas right now. Presnell tapping in his par. You just see the leaderboards at this course, and you know any bogey is sending you down.
Yeah, all the double-digit scores out here. Anytime you lose a stroke over par, it just feels like you're losing 3 or 4.
Yeah, what do you think about this hole number 3?
Yeah, hole 3, fairly simple righty hyzer. You want to throw it about 340 feet, and just don't go too far left and mess with that OB. Then you've got another 300-foot shot into the green, which you can go straight down the tree line or throw a forehand out to the left side.
And Adam just throwing a Raptor. Pretty simple stuff. Again, this hole is really not even allowing a player to get aggressive off this tee.
Yeah, to get aggressive, you'd probably have to have about 550 feet of hyzer power to push past the OB line that's way left. And it's just not really worth it with the ease that the upshot has without being aggressive.
And Drew down-tempoing on some decently overstable driver. Not too bad.
Yeah, you can see these players are still getting off to the left and not challenging that OB line, so just kind of pump it out and you should be okay.
And let's actually go back and do a form check here. Even on these controlled hyzers, Gavin, with such length, keeps the disc at a really beautiful neutral position and still finds a way to extend fully on these shots. And that was about 60% power. I love the way he extends. Yeah, maybe. Speaking of 60% shots.
Yeah, Drew getting a great line on this. Comes out super straight, just inside the circle there. You'd like to put it a little closer, but anytime you're on the green, you got a birdie chance.
A little bit more aggressive play from Adam. That super domey pop-top pink force he started throwing.
Yeah, and it just kind of lifts up in the air on him and catches those branches just a little bit to the left, or if it hadn't lifted, that would have been a great shot. Gavin going with this straight line down the trees. This is moving pretty quick. I think it needs to sit down.
I think he should have a decent look from in there. It's not too bad. I just love Presnell's disc selections.
Right, he finally came off of a drone for this upshot. He has to go a little bit further and throws a good shot. Should be inside the circle as well.
Yeah, you have some players that really seem to throw a huge array of different discs, and then you have a few players like James Conrad, Presnell, that really lean on 2 or 3. Michael Johansson also comes to mind.
Yeah, and great putt from Presnell there. He's got a very unique style, but he's a great putter.
Fantastic putter. Let's see that Gatekeeper rewind. Kind of nose up, shovey putt. I really like the way he releases the disc, and like you said, very unique.
Yeah, multiple times you'll see his putt never be high enough until it reaches the basket.
Yeah, exactly.
And Drew fixing the issue he had on the first couple holes, gets it high enough and drains the birdie putt. Good hole from him. Adam, after pushing a little bit long on his birdie bid from about 80, has a bit of a tester coming back, able to convert it no problem.
And you see again, these flags on the baskets are just not blowing in the way that they are in years past. Just makes it so much different of a tournament to play.
Gavin's still in a little bit of trouble here. He's pretty close to the basket, but he's got a lot to work around. It makes these putts pretty awkward. And he is just able to spin that putt in there. Uses a lot of wrist on that putt, not much arm movement. Great birdie putt there. That one feels good.
Oh, yeah.
The pig is just the disc for me. From the top of the disc all the way to the bottom of the flight plate, I have 100% control of what this disc does. Thumb track's gonna give me consistency and the confidence to hit that angle a little bit better. I can throw sidearm, feel comfortable. I can throw backhand, feel comfortable. High pressure upshot, I'm reaching for the pig. It's the upshot disc.
And that moves us into hole 4, 530 feet. You want to throw it about, again, 340 or so off of the tee, up to 360. Once you get to that point, you will go OB. And then you've got a little small island green to land on. This is playing as the 3rd easiest hole on the course. So pretty short par 4 here. You really just want to get a good placement shot.
Green drone yet again from Presnell. Are we going to see a roller like we saw from Double G yesterday?
Adam and Gavin both kind of have the power to get that done. And I know I've seen Adam throw rollers before.
Drew playing a much more conservative play. Something straight on the right side.
Gavin going with the forehand. Just such an easy birdie to get. It's probably hard to talk yourself into going for the eagle.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely blown away to watch G go for that yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like Adam's going to do the easy forehand as well. It's pretty hard to mess up.
Yeah. And that is about perfect.
Yeah, pushes up, has about one of the shortest upshots you can have on pretty much any course. He's going to have under 200 feet after just an easy tee shot.
Makes me wonder if they really were hoping the players would go for this green more. It just felt like maybe a little bit too much treachery to go for it.
Yeah, it's super skinny right there where you can first get onto it. So it's, unless you have that, 470 feet of power, and that is absolutely not what you would expect to see from any of these players here. That never crossed in bounds on the other side, and that is just absolutely a mistake you can't make.
And Presnell making the correction. Yeah, you don't see that from Drew. Just completely didn't get any turn on it. And you saw that was a pretty beat putter that he was throwing.
Yeah, it seems like there's some headwind, so maybe he just went a little more stable than he normally would and didn't get the snap on it. But it's not a mistake you can make. This is for his par now. And that's going to be losing 2 strokes on the majority of the field.
Yeah, this hole averaged a half stroke under par. So any bogey stroke is really just completely losing. There are some holes, I guess a prime example is hole 12 at Northwoods. You bogey that one, it doesn't feel terrible because so many people in the field are going to be taking that number. But this is rough for Drew. He's really going to have to laser focus from here. Moving into number 5, another par for the course, placement par 4, OB on both sides. You have this OB creek, and then you have this beautiful built-up green. This is just find your spot and put whatever disc you can there.
Yeah, you've got, you've got up to about 400 feet. If you get 400 feet on it, you're probably a little nervous that you're going into the water there, but about 400 feet of power off of the tee. And then it's just that second shot to clear the lake. With these righty hyzers, the further left you get, it's kind of easier to get into the green because you can just throw that same hyzer angle again, and you don't have to mess with different flat angles and worry about the wind grabbing it.
Adam with a nice controlled hyzer as well, starting out flat. Yep, same spot. He'll be able to go same hyzer.
Yeah, even though there is OB off of the tee here, the hardest part of this hole is really the second shot. You want to get pretty close to the green because you do have this elevated basket, and the wind does come into play as there are no trees around there to block anything.
Gavin's shot looks solid coming in. Oh, yeah. That's exactly where you want it.
Yeah, just outside that second layer of bricks is probably about 12 or 13 feet.
Yeah.
It's about the closest you can get to a tap in on this hole. And this looks great out of Drew as well.
Just making this hole look really simple. And it really is. It's 2 shots that any power righty can do in their sleep. I bet a lot of these players could throw this second shot with a blindfold on.
Yeah, and Adam I think the uphill run-up maybe got him on that one a little bit. He didn't quite get his plant foot down when he wanted to and pulls it off to the right a little bit. Andrew trying to put it on the bricks, but floats just a bit long. Kind of a testy putt there since it is an elevated basket, and he's got the downhill behind him.
What a putt from Adam.
Yeah.
And again, on that far side of the basket, that's headwind. We had tailwind off the tee. That's a great putt on that elevated pin. Let's see that Gatekeeper rewind. Even in slow motion, his putts just barely wobble.
Such a clean release, so fast.
One of the best push putters I've ever seen. If you are trying to learn that type of release, study the way he putts. Rewind this Gatekeeper rewind multiple times. Great putt.
Yeah, let's see if Presnell can keep up with him, and he does. With that nose up, you could see it didn't look like it was going to get there and just keeps on lifting.
That's 3 in a row for Presnell. He's moving to 16 under par.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a chance to see the star frame here.
Hey, Drew Gibson here. I want to thank you guys for watching. I just want to give a big thank you to Infinite Discs and EV7 Discs. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be out here. Also, I have my own 2 brands, Standard Clothing Company and Gibson Industries. Make sure to go check those out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys at the next event.
Moving into number 6. You want to be as left as you can on this hole, challenging the OB off to the left side so you can at least fly through this gap. If you miss right, there is a spike hyzer available. We saw the very powerful Nate Sexton execute it very well in day 1.
Yeah, another short par 4 here, but it does play a little harder than the last one. If you don't get in that good spot down there, just where he's at right there, then it's a little difficult to access the green for birdie.
Here's Gavin. Something overstable.
And this looks like a good angle here.
Oh yeah, and that grass luckily is clover of some sort, and it catches the skips really nicely if you go far enough. This is sawed off.
Yeah, this is high left. It needs some help.
You kind of knew right out of his hand that he did not throw it where he wanted to. And Drew making a nice correction.
Yeah, coming out a lot flatter. This one needs to get a little more flare. And it does get a pretty good push down the hill. He may not quite have a straight angle, but he still should be able to reach the green from there. Now Adam going forehand. Doesn't hit the gap, but it looks like he got a fortunate backwards kick and stays inbounds.
Nice little putter shot from Presnell.
Yeah, and that's a great spot for him to be. Without that forehand play, he's got to get all the way down there so he can have that straight backhand.
And Drew making the correction, actually getting the turn on the disc this time. Should be no problem for the birdie.
And something you don't see too often on this hole is someone stretching out to the right to hit the gap. Gavin had gotten
Great
a little
shot.
too far down there, but makes it work. Adam trying to escape with his bogey after a couple errant shots there.
Presnell goes 4 in a row, moves to 17 under. He just is so solid and throws the important shots really, really well. Drew also capitalizes on the birdie. Presnell's just very good at throwing flat and straight. And that skill set can get you so far on so many courses. He can throw Annie to flat. He can throw hyzer flip to flat.
Yeah, it seems like most of the releases that he comes out with
Gavin.
make the disc go flat. and just a little unfortunate, maybe just didn't take his time there. Thought he was pretty close, and the wind lifted it as soon as he released. Still able to get away with a par, though. Moving on to hole 7, 355 feet. You've got a Mando on the right, preventing the big righty hyzer. You really want to throw... The backhand turnover is a very hard shot to reach it. If you've got the righty forehand, then you want to throw it on a hyzer the entire time and let it push forward and then get a good flare off to the right. There's not a great wind for this shot right now. It should be kind of a headwind here. And as soon as you get it turned over, it packs it down towards the ground.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of line Drew's throwing. Is he going roller here, maybe? It's a tough backhand turnover. Okay, he's going for the air shot. Roll bounce off the shed, and he's inside circle 1.
That's an incredible backhand. That's such a tough shot to execute.
And this is a much more textbook decision from Gavin. Kind of a slow pushing hyzer. You don't have much room to flex it. That's a little high.
And if it misses branches, this looks great. It does kind of touch some of those branches and comes up a bit short. Another good bounce off of the building there.
And this is going to be an interesting shot for Adam because, like I said, this right tree does not really give much room to flex the shot, and that's his preferred forehand.
Yeah, and it's up as well. This headwind is just wreaking some havoc on these hyzer shots you're trying to throw, lifting them up in the air.
Adam landing the zone really nicely.
Yeah, another nice touch shot from him. He's got such great touch on those forehands to just drop them inside 10 feet.
Maybe a safe run there from Presnell.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
That's a scary one to run.
Yeah, huge drop off behind the basket, and there's OB.
You can see Gavin, I think he was trying to lay up there and just kind of floated it a bit. Didn't quite work out how he planned it to. Drew, after a great turnover and bounce off the building, looking to convert on the birdie. 3 in a row. Oh.
Left side.
Yeah, just too far left side.
You see that wind starting to pick up a little bit. We're starting to get normal Kansas weather. And we've just seen Drew in the past kind of come and go with his putt. When he's on, he makes everything. And when he's off, he's routinely been very off. And it's tough when this wind picks up.
Yeah, the wind adds a whole new factor, especially after you haven't been putting in it for a day or two.
I wonder how many people in this entire world would step up to this tee pad and think to themselves, backhand drone turnover is the preferred shot.
Love getting outside and challenging yourself to become better? How about spending time with family and friends, or just marveling at the pure joy of flight? Then you've come to the right place at the right time. Join the PDGA.
Moving into number 8. We did see Eagle McMahon get a roller down here into circle 1 yesterday. And again, I don't know if we're going to see that from these players, but we are probably going to see these players throw some huge turnovers or big hyzers around the road to give themselves a pretty easy approach.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe play just to throw this hyzer that Andrew's playing here. It keeps that OB on the left side out of play, and it's really an easy upshot from that point. You've got a kind of a low ceiling, but it's downhill as well.
Just some beautiful footwork from Drew. He's able to get so much weight transfer behind these hyzers, and he's way up there.
And he's got up past those trees, which makes it an even more open up shot. He'll just be kind of pitching a hyzer around the corner from there. Probably with a putter.
Yeah, most definitely. And speaking of power hyzer, Gavin is very, very well versed in this shot.
Yeah, and this is stood up straight. This is right up there with Drew's shot, maybe even a little bit closer. And they've got a pretty good little downhill run at it if they want it.
I guess it's no 570-foot roller, but I suppose it'll do. Adam going with that same really overstable force he's been leaning on. And that's a little inside. There is OB off to the left side. And he's going to be fine. He actually has an opening off to the left to throw that zone he likes throwing.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere you land on here, you've kind of got a line towards the basket. Andrew looks like he had the most difficult line that you could have, but it doesn't matter. Just puts it about 7-8 feet away. Kind of what you expect on this hole. Drew able to go putter straight at it, about 12 feet as well.
And I believe that disc he's throwing is the Ruin from Infinite Discs. It's kind of like a zone. He said he's been really enjoying it for the backhand shots.
A couple sidearms there from Adam and Gavin. Adam leaves his a bit short, but still inside the circle.
We do not see that too often from Adam.
No, that's not something he's a really solid putter. It looks like he might have gone a little quick there. He usually takes a little bit more time.
Drew getting his pretty easy birdie. Yeah, this one was another hole that averaged almost a whole half stroke under par. And that's just, looking at the stats here, this course just got shredded by the entire field. It's one thing to see the top players score, but to see the entire field shred this hole and, you know, average a half stroke under par just shows that this course is all about just executing the boring shots. We're going to move into number 9. What do you think?
It seems like it was designed to be played in a 15 to 25 or 30 mile an hour wind. Moving on to hole 9, another hole that averages over a half stroke under par. As the easiest hole on the course, 613 feet. Smash one up there 450 feet like these guys can.
Oh, no. That was dead right out of the hand from Presnell. That was a big misfire from him.
Yeah, it looks like that got a little turned over, and once you get that Anheuser on the disc, the headwind or the right to left a little bit that they have here, I'll just grab it.
That's high from Drew.
Yeah, might get pushed off to the left side. Oh, and what a tree there.
Incredibly lucky from Drew. You saw his shades came off when he threw it. I'm guessing that assisted in that misfire. And Gavin trying to play this crosswind. There we go.
Yeah, now that's the hyzer that you're used to seeing on this hole.
Look at that.
Still gets pretty close to the left side, but he is way up there and has probably under 150 feet to get to the pin.
Must be nice.
And this is right as well. I don't think this is going to come back in time. And it does catch the grass on the right side. This is pretty surprising to see. This is a very attackable birdie hole, and it seems like these guys were maybe trying to get the eagle here and just making a bit of a mess of it. And this gets just far enough around those horseshoe pits to stay in bounds.
There's a Raptor from Presnell. Yeah, you definitely saw from Adam, and it looked like Presnell as well, were trying to play that crosswind to their advantage, but when you throw it, like you were saying earlier, throwing it wide enough turns it into a headwind. Perfect shot from Drew, no problem.
Yeah, and again, with this being the easiest hole on the course, these OB shots, you just can't have that.
And Gavin, no problem. That's what you get when you play the crosswind nicely. And this is something I've seen from Adam in the past. A couple mistakes, and he gets very hard on himself. He does demand quite a bit from his skill set. Hopefully he can maintain his mental fortitude as we move forward.
Yeah, going into the back nine, there's right to start, you've got some chances for a couple birdies and maybe even a couple eagles.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he gets this turned back around.
Gavin tapping in his birdie after a rough start. There you have it for the front nine, folks. Not too bad from Presnell and Gibson. Gavin is on the up and up. Adam just struggling to maintain a good score out here. And again, our leaderboard is stacked with good scores. Eagle McMahon, 20 under par. Calvin, 20 under par. Ben Calloway, 19 under par. We will take a look on this back nine, see what our players can do here. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. Again, I'm Brian Earhart. He's Nathan Queen. We are signing off.
We'll see you guys out there.